everyone. Um, this is Ralin, and today I have a surprise for each and every one of you. Um, Thanks for showing up and thank you for being here. I don't have a strict plan with today's live here on Substack. In the beginning, This is an intimate Zoom experience, which is something that I get to do when I was in Malaysia. Thank you for being here and thank you for showing up. As you can see, I've been looking back and forth because I do have a Zoom details of this event, which is called a sensory co regulation, wherein we're going to create something beautiful with our own hands. And as we go through with that, I'll be probably sharing with you um, a practice that I've been doing for quite a period of time. So the reason why I am doing this is because I feel like when I do things with my hands, the way I process things and the way I navigate my emotions becomes clearer than before. So, once again, thank you for showing up. I am looking back and forth because I do have a camera here wherein there is a Zoom details that was sent a couple of days back for subscribers here on Substack. And I was inviting everyone to join along and come along to experience how do I make sensory therapy a tool to navigate emotions. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. If you see me moving around, looking on the wall, up or down, don't be afraid. It's very normal. I tend to have a high pitched voice sometimes, or I tend to have a monotonic voice as well. It really depends on how I pick up some words. Sometimes there is a tendency where I couldn't hear my own thoughts and my own words that comes out into my mouth. The only thing that I hear is the last word. So if you see me doing that, please know that I'm still here, that I'm still navigating my emotions and I'm still with you. Here in front of me, I have set up a Zoom meeting with two screens um, where they can see how I make a sensory activity. And I have to be very honest with you guys. I have done this in Malaysia with first time parents, but I've never done this online. Um, so again, I don't have a strict plan for today. I just really want this to be a soft space, a safe space for everyone who's joining to co regulate for this. Um, I wanted to hold a circle for you and also for me where we can check in, talk about what's real, and know that I am not alone. You are not alone in this journey of late diagnosis, misdiagnosis, and even undiagnosed. And if you think like you check all the checklist, you have 50 tabs open. Um, so yeah, this is something that I would really want to do. Um, I'm not recording. The reason why I am here is to welcome each and every one of you. Um, and I hope that um, you guys could enjoy how I do sensory play. Um, and thank you just for joining. You don't have to do along with me, or you can join along if you want to turn on your camera, or if you don't want to turn on your camera. Your camera is totally fine. I will not call your names on here. I just wanted to let you know that I see you. that you're welcome here and I save a seat for you. Um, so if you read one of my, what was I saying? If you read one of my articles for the past few days, you probably would have known that I have been mapping my emotions. Um, and never would have I imagined that discomfort, fear, grief, and sadness would be something that I would be more comfortable to talk with you about. So this time around, I just wanted to invite you to come along with me. Um, Thank you so much for noticing that I put myself on mute. I'm looking on two cameras at the moment. One is on Zoom and one on you guys. I put myself on mute. If you can hear me, put a thumbs up. And if you can, please ping me and let me know. I'm putting this on live as well because I wanted to document this sensory therapy. Um, Thank you so much for coming in. I will not mention your name for this space, and this season is a place where you can be safe. And I wanted to have a soft landing for all our entangled thoughts. Um, if you see me looking on this camera, I'm talking to one of the person that's joining on a private meeting. And if I'm looking on you guys here, you'll know that um, I'm talking to you. But what I wanted to let you know is I've been mapping my emotions for the past few seasons right now since I've moved in Germany 4 months ago. Um, it is not easy. Um, there's a lot of big question marks. I felt robbed. I was livid with my with my therapist. I didn't know what to do. Um, and then I'm starting to have. I've noticed that I have been having dreams, and I thought it was dreams, but then I realized it was a suppressed memory. Um, and maybe you know already, I was a sensory teacher back in Malaysia, an early childhood educator. And what I do is I basically teach kids to name their feelings and to be comfortable with different kinds of emotions that they're currently they're learning to have, you know? Um And through these seasons of diagnosis and misdiagnosis and late diagnosis, I came to realize that sensory play helped me to regulate my own self, helped me to talk to myself in a way that I would talk to someone that I admire, that someone that I look up to, and someone that I adore. Um, and I've been navigating these messy feelings for the past 4 months now, and I've learned something which is called somatic practice. It's more about being grounded on yourself. And so I had this crazy idea to invite my community in Substack to join me. I've done this sensory play with parents. So it was a parent toddler activity in Malaysia, but I've never done this online. And I just want to see if this is something that I wanted to do. It's just my ADHD brain craving for novelty, I guess. And so without further ado, um, I just want you guys to take a moment to settle in, to find a comfortable place to have your hands move freely like mine. You can watch, you can take your time. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can just enjoy. And while we are doing this activity, I just want you to notice things, to find what you're feeling inside your body, your physical body, and just where your thoughts bring you for the next 30 to 35 minutes. So today we're going to do Oobleck, which is made of flour and water. And before we start, I would like to invite you to take a deep breath in. There's no right or wrong in this activity. This is activity is for you and also for me. And I hope that when we do this thing together, we'll be able to experience something more than play, but we will be able to sit down with our own self, notice things, and hopefully have a soft and safe landing for our untangled thoughts. So let's do one more 4 count. Deep breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. It is so nice that we have two hands, that we get to do something out of our hands. I am lamenting and grieving for the years that was robbed with me. And when I grieve, I use my hands to do something, to create something out of it. So one more last time, take a deep breath in, hold it, and breathe out. It's gonna be okay. Now let's begin by making our oobleck together. First, you're gonna need corn flour. Can you notice how this flour is so dry and so sticky? There's no right and wrong measurement on this. I remember when I was left by my parents in the kitchen when I was young, and I would be opening packs of flours and cornflakes and just playing along with them. And then once we are done, we're gonna check if we have someone here. But if not, we're going to continue. I want you to feel what does the cornflakes cornstarch is. Can you imagine this was made out of corn? And would you imagine that the corn that is color yellow would produce something like this? If you pour this and then we add a little water slowly until it sticks. There's no perfect amount for this. You can just pour slowly and feel your hands inside. There's just enough for you to play, just enough for you to grab it. And as we play, and you see how it resists, can you see how the flour resists? And then it clumps and it doesn't want to mix. And then it slowly begins to soften, mixing all together with other flour. And that you can feel it in between your fingers. I can add some more if I want to. But as I notice how it becomes almost gone in my hands. Isn't it that the beauty of sometimes life is just like that? If it's too feels too wet, we can just add sprinkle a little bit more. and then see how it resists again. And sometimes you would see that we're still talking about the corn flour, but I feel like sometimes I am the corn flour. I feel like sometimes I'm the cornstarch. I tend to resist. I tend to resist about life, about transition, just like the lumps of this cornstarch is. It doesn't want to mix. It doesn't want to combine with the water. It just keeps on clumping. And then slowly it comes together. But then, you know, we think that it's just because it's not enough water, it's too much cornstarch, it's not enough. Then you would notice I keep on repeating the word enough. Don't we think sometimes we think of ourselves too small because we're too much, we're too sensitive. Or sometimes we doubt ourselves because we're not enough. We're just less. So we tend to think of the word enough negatively. And just like this cornstarch that was resisting for a little bit time today, doesn't want to mix with the remaining mixture, it tends to resist. But I want you to notice it. Does the cornstarch or the water decide if you're enough or not? I realize that it is my hand that decides if this is too soft, too clumsy, or just enough. The cornstarch and the water will just mix according to how my hands feel it. And even if I put too much water or if I put too less cornstarch, my hands can navigate it. I hope you notice that. I hope you notice how beautiful this oobleck is. And even if we are just playing with sensory play, we can see that it actually helps us to think through of our life. So who are you? Are you the cornstarch? Are you the water? Are you the cornstarch who needs more water? Do you put enough water in your life? Or are you the hands that navigates how sticky and how wet and how dry this mixture is? Whatever your answer is today, there's no judgment in here. You can be the cornstarch. You can be the water. You can be both. You can be all of the above. So as we continue to mix this, let's put a little bit more water and mix it again and again and again. And if you notice, sometimes you would think, okay, I've put enough water. There's a lot of water now. I think my life will become smoother. These oobleck will become smoother. But then you notice, even if you put a little bit of water, your hands needs to mix it. You get to play with your fingers. You get to mix this mixture. And as you mix it, it combines to the other cornstarch until you will have a smooth mixture that goes into your hands. Notice the texture as you feel it. As you keep your hands moving in circular motion, you will notice how smooth it becomes, how it becomes so liquid when you let go. And it becomes so easy and easy and easy until you can put it all together and there's no more lumps. And I think that's what our life is sometimes. We just have to show up. We just have to keep moving. We just have to keep moving for ourselves. We just have to keep on moving and moving and moving until it goes. Thank you so much for joining. I've saved a seat for you. And as we move our hands and our fingers in this mixture of oobleck that doesn't look like oobleck anymore because we've put too much water, but who cares? There's no right and wrong answer on this. You'll notice that it slips into your finger. And as we add little bit more of cornstarch into our mixture, sometimes this cornstarch signifies life and transition. And then we're back again. We're back again. This cornstarch will start resisting again and again and again. And then it'd be so difficult to move. And then you will realize this is too much cornstarch. This is not enough water. And again, I want you to note the word enough. Do we put the definition of enough on the cornstarch? Or do we put the definition of our enough to the water? Or do we trust our hands to decide? There's no right and wrong recipe on making oobleck. But one thing I've learned from a 3, nearly 4-year-old toddler, teacher, trust the process. And how a 3, nearly 4 years old toddler can taught me about life. And as you notice, as I move my hands in circular motion over and over again, we've put cornstarch, but as we move our hands, it mixes the whole mixture again and again and again. And you will see how smooth it is to navigate this. I think this mixture is like our life though. We keep on adding cornstarch because it's not oobleck enough. We keep on adding water because we felt like we're not making it perfect. But again, as we trust the process, because we can't put back again the cornstarch that was put here, we can't take away the water that is inside in this bowl. We'll just trust the process. I hope that you remember that it is your hand that decides. There's no right and wrong answer on this. And as we put more, we're not afraid anymore, right? If I put one more scoop of cornstarch, am I afraid of the lumps again? Am I afraid that I will go back again to the same process? Am I afraid and annoyed that it's gonna resist? No, I won't. Because I know that as I continue to work on my hands, I know exactly it will turn smooth sooner or later. How beautiful it is that we get to work with our hands with this oobleck. And as we hold this oobleck, as we put pressure on it, we realize that the thing that you resist keeps on persisting. And so that's true. What you keep on persisting, what you keep on resisting, keeps on persisting. And usually, what you keep on persisting, what keeps persisting in your life, is one thing that you keep on resisting. Notice how my hands are putting a lot of pressure, but notice too how it slips into my fingers, both solid and liquid. And life, before diagnosis, after diagnosis, and even in between, we get to hold both the solid and the liquid of this oobleck. We get to experience it and we get to feel it. And I think this is what life is all about. It's messy, it's sticky, but the more you resist it, the more it will stay. But when you rest your hands, you'll just see it moves. You know, this thing that drops off, it reminds me of the people that does not belong to my hands, does not belong to my life, does not belong to my safe circle. The more I hold it, the more they're just gonna stay. But if I let my hands just rest my hands, sooner or later they will just drop off like a liquid that goes down on this bucket that we have. And even if they don't, like this oobleck will dry, like what is happening right now. And when it's dry, I get to crack them onto my hands too. Easy peasy. So I guess I want to talk about our feelings and our emotions. The more we try to say, I'm not comfortable with this, I don't want this feeling anymore, why am I here? The more we are restless about it, the more it stays on our hands. And it's difficult to take them out. But I guess when we let our hands just like this for a period of time, then we realize, hmm, it's easy for me to wash my hands later. I hope that for every one of you who are staying here, I know we're just making Oobleck, but I hope that you get what I mean. And I hope that you stay with this sensation. And so as we rest, I want you once again to notice your body, to notice what your body responds. If you are going to try this later, if you're going to do this sensory therapy with somatic practice later, I want you to remember and I want you to ask yourself or to notice the signs and signals. How does your body feels? Do you want to rush on making the oobleck, or are you curious enough to see and notice how the cornstarch at first don't want to mix with the water? And so, is there any tensions in your hand? Thank you so much for coming over here today. And even if you're just joining, I want you to remember that as we navigate making this oobleck, I hope that this is something that we also get to navigate with our own life journey. I notice when I put my hands in this mixture that at first I don't like the tension that is happening. I don't like the tension that's coming on my hands. It's so clumsy. It resists. It's so difficult to navigate. But as I keep on moving my hands in a circular motion over and over and over again, I get to put my finger in between the oobleck. I get to hold both solid and liquid in my hand. I can catch them, but then I can also catch them slipping through my fingers. Reminds me of the years that we didn't realize that we are neurodivergent. The years that we thought we are broken, and the years that we thought that we need some fixing, that we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 therapies. The years that were gone and like slipping in our fingers, and we want to catch them. We want them back, but we can't. We just can't. And as we hold them, they become sticky in our hands. We don't want to hold this anymore. And the more we want to easily wash our hands, the more they get to stick in every part of our hands. But then if we rest our hands, we just realize they just go. They just drop. I guess it's similar to our friends, similar to our loved ones, similar to our career, similar to our old habits. We think we need to do something about it. And then we forgot that we can just, I'll just open my hands. I'll just unmask. And you know what? The moment you unmask, the moment they just drop. It is easy to clean my hands if I just let my hands stay still. Unmask. They are just dropping off. And if I really want to start all over again, I get to start all over again. I'll just let this thing dry. And it's so easy for me to clean it up because they're dry. Again, we think when we make an oobleck, there's a perfect recipe. We need to have this amount of cornstarch and this amount of water. We need, maybe it's not mixing together because there's too much cornstarch, not enough water, not enough cornstarch. And same goes with our lives. Sometimes we feel like we're less because we're not enough. But who gets to tell you what is enough and what's not enough? I hope we remember once again to let our hands decide if what is enough in this oobleck. We get to trust the process. So as we firmly hold them together and feel the weight, feel them dropping off, I want you to remember that this is physics. I want you to remember that oobleck is both liquid and both solid. And this is a kind of matter too. We are dealing with matter. Spoiler alert, you are a matter too. You occupy space. You're allowed to exist. So your life has a value, just like this oobleck. You see, some of them are falling off, some of them are sticking on your hands. Same goes with your loved ones, same goes with people in your life. Some of them will stick and some of them will not. But as they slip through your fingers, I hope that you recognize that this is a pause and a process for you. That you're meant to hold them and you're meant to let them go. I hope that you're not forcing the thoughts to disappear. And I hope that you're able to push through on this sensory co regulation. Just enjoy and see how this can bring. And if you're like me, who notices the ordinary, to be able to have my untangled thoughts land on spaces that are safe, maybe you need a little bit more of Oobleck in your life. I hope you would love to try this as well. So let yourself play. Let yourself notice. Let yourself feel, explore, and be curious. The way things cling to yourself, the way things that were given to you, the way things that were taken from you, not only today, not only yesterday, for the years that were gone by. Guess what? Life doesn't end on this mixture of Oobleck. It keeps on adding and adding over and over again. Some people will come and have their hands and fingers in this too. I hope you realize you're not afraid. I hope you realize that this is a process, that you will get to a point where you get to have the decision to say, however, more cornstarch is going to be added in my life. Whatever transitions is added in my life, whatever is my diagnosis will be. I went to this diagnosis and assessment. They told me I'm not autistic. They told me I don't have ADHD. I went to this test and I just realized at 58, at 74 that I have ADHD. What happened? What is wrong? I can't pull back my years. I can't enjoy my life. I wonder what it feels like if I know. I wonder too. I just don't have answer from the past. I recognize that I existed and survived. But healing comes when you acknowledge that there is something that you can do in the future. That life will be something like this, full of water. It doesn't clump anymore, but it's also not oobleck. It is still an oobleck. It's just not that sticky oobleck that used to. This is unmasking. We have come to the moment of showing you two ingredients, what unmasking feels like. Soft, smooth, easy to navigate. I can add some more. It will clump for sure. At one time, we will have to mask at some point in one time. But this water will not decide if we are too much or too less. This cornstarch will not determine because it is our hands that determines what are we going to do with these two materials in our life. And that is our sensory therapy. And I hope that you like it. And I hope that you learned something from this Oobleck. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. And know that this simple mixture of corn flour and water is enough for a soft landing place for your untangled thoughts. When you're ready, I want you to bring your attention back to the space around you right now and to realize that in this season, we can still navigate. Before we go, I just wanted to say that if all you did was show up today, that is enough. I'll keep making spaces for you. I'll keep showing you how I learned to talk to myself in a soft and gentle and kind way. Just like how I would talk to the person that I adore, just like how I would talk to my future child, just like how do I talk with the toddler who calls me teacher. And I hope you do that to yourself too. And as always, you matter and you're allowed to exist. You can occupy space and you are worthy to exist and to be loved and to be held and to be heard of. Thank you so much for joining from the Substack. And I have to end this. If you like this kind of regulatory session, I please come along. And if you're watching this on a replay, I hope that this will bring something that is soft and gentle to you. Have a good day, everyone.